So what is the Harrowing of Hell? Certainly, it is a title that will shock a lot of contemporary Christians, but it is the basis not just for much Christian thought in a theological sense, but even in modern media. Figures such as Mel Gibson is certainly quoted as having said that he will be including elements of this famous early Christian tradition in his sequel to The Passion of the Christ. What is plain is that there is alluded to, particularly in 1st and 2nd Peter, an instance where between Christ's death and resurrection, we see Christ's soul descending into the netherworld, releasing souls who are imprisoned. What's curious about this is I'm already, in my description here, probably going to get comments on this video that I am already interpolating what those texts mean. And it is very true that they're rather difficult to understand in their initial context in 1st and 2nd Peter. For example, it doesn't necessarily say that he went down to release them, but visited the souls who were imprisoned. But early church tradition made it emphatically clear that what Jesus was really doing was entering into the netherworld and there meeting Adam and Eve, perhaps even the souls of other just and righteous persons, and leading them from a place of pure bliss, called Abraham's bosom or the limbus of the fathers, and leading them triumphantly up to the gates of paradise opened through his most precious blood. Blessed Catherine Ann Emmerich and others describe this in private revelations within Roman Catholicism, and Orthodoxy has a rich liturgy for the harrowing of the underworld. There's a sense in which Christ also confronts the powers of the evil one, and certainly presents himself as victorious. This is why in Revelation, I believe chapter 1, we read that Jesus has in his hands the keys to Hades and to death. And, of course, there is a sense in which Christ will have had a kind of spiritual reunion. Think of the pre-incarnate Logos met with Moses. Now Moses is seeing, of course, the soul of the God-man here, another kind of prophetic hours and instances. Now, there is an alternative school of thought, and it really has to be brought up here. This alternative school of thought would argue that these passages in 1st and 2nd Peter instead have to do with Jesus entering into the imprisoned souls in the netherworld of the Nephilim during the time of Noah. He's going down to boast of how he has conquered over sin and death. This is rather popular in some modern evangelical circles these days. I don't see these images as incompatible. It's very clear that Jesus clearly is entering into the limbus of the fathers if you read church history. But Jesus did gloat in a righteous, godly, rightly ordered sense over a defeated Satan who would have been crushed at the cross. In that sense, we also can say with the Orthodox every Easter, Christ is risen from the dead, trampling down death by death, and upon those in the tombs he is bestowing a life. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.